Hey you! Welcome to my channel, A Year and a Day. My name's Jenny and today I thought it would be fun to do a VR to Marine of the Waves of Your Soul. Marine is a French tarot reader living on a tropical island. And if you don't know her channel, I highly recommend to go check it out because Marine is super awesome, funny and creates wonderful videos. And recently she created #GoodMoodDecks, where she shared all kinds of fun decks from her collection that bring her positive vibes. I will leave a link to her video below. And now, let's take a look at my top 10 good mood decks. Starting with the Cat Tarot. This is such a fun deck and it already starts with the box. This is such a fun, silly deck and it perfectly depicts all the shenanigans cats get into every single day. The deck follows the Rider-Waite-Smith, but I really love how they got creative with the depictions, like how the Death card is a vacuum cleaner and the Devil is a dog. So I feel it doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time you can definitely use this deck in a reading. Now let me take a moment to share what a good mood deck means to me. As I've shared before, I use tarot and oracle decks for self-reflection and mindfulness. So I don't necessarily personify my decks. They are tools made out of paper. That being said, art can make you feel things. By using certain colors and shapes, you can evoke certain emotions within yourself. And I love playing around with that in my practice. It's the reason why I love having quite a bit of decks to choose from, instead of using the same tarot deck day in, day out. Depending on how I feel on a certain day, I can select a deck that either matches or challenges that. So in the case of the good mood decks I'm sharing in this video, these are decks that to me are surrounded by positive vibes. So whether I'm already in a good mood or when I need something to lift my spirit, these are the decks I can turn to. The next one is the How to Be a Wildflower deck by Katie Daisy. The good vibes already start with the packaging. The lovely, slightly textured box, soft warm colors and beautiful illustrations and hand lettering. The deck consists of 78 cards, which is already a lot. But the great thing about this deck is that the cards are double-sided. So this is basically a 156 card deck. The cards themselves consist of an illustration on one side and a handwritten nature-themed quote on the other side. Whether I use this deck for daily intentions, combining two of the cards, or pairing it like an oracle with another deck, it just always brings these positive summer vibes. The Modern Witch Tarot is next on my list. I usually don't really vibe with modern decks, since it often depicts city life and young hip people. And considering the fact that I am neither young nor hip, nor do I enjoy city life in any way, I often just don't really identify with modern decks. But the Modern Witch is the exception, and it has a lot to do with the colors used in this deck. The mint green, the warm yellows, the orange and the pink. It creates this happy, bubbly vibe and I'm here for it. I also love the few hints of dark humor that are in here, like the way some impalement was added to the Tower card. And the bonus card just says, everything is fine, when clearly everything is not fine. This deck always reminds me to not make problems bigger than they are, and to try and stay lighthearted. Let's continue with the Secrets of the Mystic Grove. This one always feels really supportive, and I think it's because there's just not a hard-hitting keyword in here. At the same time, the guidebook provides good advice and journaling prompts for every card, so I always feel I get something out of it. So especially in moments where I feel anxious or restless and need some support and guidance instead of a slap in the face, I go to this deck. Next up is the Tempest Tarot. This one feels light and airy to me, and it always allows for some space to breathe. The seafaring theme reminds me of the wind in my hair, the sound of waves and seagulls, and endless possibilities on the horizon. It's about exploring and adventure. And sometimes you just want a deck that transports you into another world. And Tempest Tarot does that for me. The Salmon Advice Oracle Volume 4 is a quirky little deck. There is no guidebook and the keywords do not always make a lot of sense on their own. But when you pair it to another deck, it can result in some really fun conversations. I'll show a clip of the Salmon Advice paired with the Outgrow Yourself, so you can see what I mean. It can really bring a new dimension to a reading and bring some humor to the table. Next is the Tarot of Mystical Moments. I do not usually vibe with collage decks, but I really love this one. It creates these dreamlike scenes where nothing is what it seems, and the longer you look at it, the more you will discover. It always invites me to use my imagination and think outside the box in a soft and gentle way. I cannot do a VR to hashtag Good Mood decks without including the Kawaii Tarot by Lulu Mayo. Because this one is just pure joy. The amount of cuteness and color stuffed in each and every card is just absolutely perfect. And if you weren't in a good mood before working with this deck, you will be after. I took this one with me to Norway because I can get a little homesick sometimes. And I knew the Kawaii Tarot would be perfect to make me feel better. The Way of the Panda Tarot is another one that brings instant good vibes. I mean, these pandas are so joyful and I love the bright colors. The cardstock is amazing and I got this mini version for a steal secondhand, including an A4 sized print. And I think this might have been part of the original Kickstarter, but I'm not sure. Either way, this little deck of pandas always brings a smile to my face. Last but not least, the Arcus Arcanum Tarot. You might remember I shared this vintage out-of-print deck in my April video, when I had just gotten it for my birthday. The original vintage version holds such a special place in my collection that it made it a bit scary to actually work with. But then I found out there is this German tarot set published in 2002 called Berufung und Beruf, which actually uses the Arcus Arcanum. So I searched around and found a copy that was missing the original packaging and only had the guidebook and the cards. Which was perfect for me, because now I have a copy I do not have to be too precious with. And also, I could trim it. Now I have this pocket-sized, trimmed version of the Arcus Arcanum to play around with, and I absolutely love it. This deck was illustrated by a comic book artist in the 80s, and the colors and illustrations really bring back memories of reading comic books as a child. I love this deck so much, and if you like it too, but don't want to spend money on the original vintage deck, and don't mind that this one is in German, I highly recommend googling on Berufung und Beruf to see if you can find an affordable copy. And that's it. Those were my good mood decks. Thanks so much to Marine of the Waves of Your Soul for creating this fun hashtag. I hope you enjoyed watching and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye!